All right, guys. For this discussion, I honestly don't know what to talk about. So we talk about what are we gonna talk about first.
Okay.
We're gonna do that first.
So I hope like we all have read it. It's
Yeah.
generally a very conceptual idea about how to make a dual system in an organization where you can work on your entrepreneurship, your ideas at the same time your operational system are going on at the same pace. So about this whole study, he's asking us to apply whatever we have learned in our innovation toolkit.
Yeah.
So our
But-
BMC, BMI, and those things, and use the examples. So there are a lot of examples in our this study,
Yeah,
and some
so-
other examples we can
but-
pick some from somewhere.
Okay, my problem is for this case study. It's like not like a really case study. It's more like a already an analysis of certain case. It's not a case study. It's an analysis of a case. So it did not provide us a case to study to analyze. It already provide us the analysis and the assumptions and the plans. It provide us a structure for how a company should start a new core, like in the what they say. So how an existing successful business wanting to spin off another new, like doing the exploration part, and then how should it pretty much elaborates like the previous paper, the exploration and exploitation paper. It elaborates that exploration part more. It focuses on the exploration and tell us how the company should, succeed in their new business, in their new corp, starting a new business utilizing the old company's resources.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then it has provided several examples. So I'm not sure like what should you actually analyze.
Yeah, so we don't have to do much of analysis here. What we're gonna do is we'll use our toolkits, basic toolkits. We're gonna use that and we'll say how this dual organization system can work in a general company, and how we should implement our toolkit in that dual organization system. So like whatever they said about forgetting or borrowing or anything, we're gonna use the forgetting, and then in the forgetting part we'll write our own toolkits, like how to implement our toolkit to better implement that forgetting part of the case study. And the same thing is gonna do for the borrowing, or like managing the link between whatever the company is going on
Here you go.
and whatever
What's
we
that?
can do the new part.
Well, I'm not exactly sure what he's trying to say in here.
Yeah, I didn't
Structure.
get this.
I didn't
this
understand
thing,
what
yeah.
exactly he's trying to say in here. It's not really making a lot of sense to
And
me.
it's not linked to the text. also.
Exactly. I was reading it. It's like, what is this?
But there's not a big difference to it, guys.
So what we can do is,
Yep. That part I get. He's trying to say we
Yes,
should
the dual
make
system.
links, and then we should report to a more higher someone who can make decision instead of having communication between these two.
yeah, that's what the dual organization
Yeah.
system is about. But again, we are stuck at like how to produce our paper on it.
Yeah, exactly. This is our problem right now. So let's talk about how we structure our paper. First, of course, we're gonna have introduction. So next, we have to define a problem. So what would the
So
problem
the
be?
problem would be for this the same thing with the problem we did in our that paper. What was
Exploration and
exploration. So the companies should have a better balance between their forgetting, borrowing, as well as they should meet the challenges. So like for the forgetting they have challenges, for the borrowing they have a lot of challenges.
Yeah, but
So those would be our problems.
like one thing is this paper has already provided it's basically wrote for us. He did say that what happened to company who did not follow,
It didn't say that.
it has a paragraph. It says it's like one page. It's an
Alright.
example of saying
I
like
might have missed it, so I don't remember.
right before everything. I think it says right before he started on how to fail. This it explained like how did it not
I read
balance,
it.
and
Yeah,
this one.
yeah, I read it. So like this was the challenges, of course. So that's what the challenges is about. So this paragraph is linked to their challenges, and Yeah, so we can make this as our problem statements. So like
What is this?
the challenges they are facing. So like the first challenges they are facing is like there was some challenge in there.
Yeah, there was. So I think one of them is company is unwilling to separate the new and the old core because it's using too much of the resource and
Also,
too much of the
they're
core
not
value.
willing to change.
Yeah, it's not willing to change. That's one. And another one is companies separate too much from the old core. So
Yeah.
from the core code. So because it just thinks that it's gonna hinder the performance of the core. So it just cuts it completely off. Become like a financer instead of a dual core company.
Yeah, that would be our problem statement. So like few things the whole paper talks about is profit or finance. So like whatever they are doing as a part of their new enterprise or entrepreneurship or new ideas is not gonna be profitable for many long years.
Okay, yeah.
Like many quarters go without
So
being
I
profitable.
guess
So these are their problems, not gonna change.
yeah we can do this problem as like this as I mentioned here when company not balancing it and then we define some and then next I think since this paper already provided a solution I think for us we can just summarize it and then put in our own thoughts and put in our own toolkits.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We have to do that.
We'll summarize because it has provided a lot of things in detail.
And
So we
during
will-
our own thoughts and assessments, we'll pick up the examples from the paper. Like paper has a lot of examples.
Yeah, it does has a lot of
And for our own each assessment, we'll input that example to
Yeah. I guess
substantiate our
we will
assessment
compact the whole paper
in 8 to 10
yeah,
pages.
8 to 10 pages. That's so. First, we'll do the problem statement. Next,
So our problem statement would be
Let's-
around like changing or making dual system, what kind of challenges they face.
let's
while
make the structure of the paper clearer so it's easier to divide the work. So first is of course intro problem is one. It's all. It's one.
Overview.
It's together. Yeah.
and problem. So this is our first
This
part.
defines the approach.
Yeah.
Okay. This defines the approach. It's basically approach.
Okay.
Approach of what to do, and then next we gotta have
The body.
the body. Yeah, but we should include stuff in the body that I'm not sure of. Let's talk about the approach.
So in the body, we can provide the challenges they face and how to balance those challenges. So like he talks about the different models like forgetting, what should they use
I
in
guess
forgetting.
we can separate this into two big parts. One is not balancing that. Well, actually, no. We gotta do it the same way. How do we utilize forgetting part, and how do we utilize the borrowing part?
Yeah.
And then eventually we make our own conclusion and come up with a recommendation, and then conclude it.
So in our conclusion, we'll give the recommendations as
Yeah.
like
So eventually we have
so
conclusion and
how to take care of forgetting. We'll use his ideas plus our toolkit. So our toolkit was like how if you try to
Yeah,
implement
I think-
like forgetting was the part where he talks about what to take from the company and what not to take from the company to for their new code, right? So what tool can we utilize for this part from our own toolkit? So like our BMC, our BMI, and what else was there? Design, BPD, and then design thinking.
yeah, we'll do this part. So
we'll
right here
try
we
to
have.
implement those things.
Okay, at the end we just talk about. It's basically a summarize this. Basically, a conclusion will be another summary of these part when we added more thinking to it.
Ultimately, we have to just stand by whatever he has written and produce.
Yeah, because I really can't think of anything that requires, more analysis. Because it's pretty much done the analysis.
What kind of recommendation can we put for this?
Well, it depends on what kind of challenges we pick.
So the challenges are mainly, there is not a proper communication, a lot of tension between
Yeah, a lot of
the
tension.
NUCO and Qualcomm?
I think it's recommended that you shouldn't have too much communication between the two.
Yeah,
'Cause you wanna treat
that,
it as-
that can be the recommendation.
Yeah, you should not have like
Proper
the-
channel.
yeah, you should have communication, but you should not have too much communication that conflicts each other. Because sometimes the new course, whatever the new core is doing, might hinder the profitability of the old core, and then the management level would not like it, so they will make decisions that it's not based on the old values.
Yeah, so that came like the
Yeah.
communication should be through a proper channel, So there should be a
Yeah.
sponsor or
They hire
there
some-
should be a sponsor or a champion like who takes care of trying to bring both teams together.
There should be someone who's looking at both, not just someone who manages and
One
only
and one.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another challenge may be like another part maybe the recommendation is borrowing. So in borrowing, we can say that they should borrow the feedback from the customer. Like they might not have the same product, but they might have a lot of feedbacks or comments from the customers, what kind of things they are looking for.
Yep.
The old
Following
feedback.
Yes, we can borrow like marketing strategies and
Yeah.
well, not really strategies, but the network that the old company has already had. So network and resources.
What I was saying is like New York Times went to New York Times Digital. They started this
Yeah.
thing. But they didn't just start it, out of blue. They might have thought like maybe their users, like NYT, the newspaper users, might be less interested in paper at that time, or maybe looking for more mobile system. And that feedback prompted them to go to this part. So when this feedback comes, at the same feedback, a lot of other information comes like what kind of interface they are looking for, what might be helpful for
But
them.
I think the
So that
challenge,
can be the borrowing part.
the real challenge here is to separate these two as a totally complete different enterprise. Because people are viewing it as the same enterprise. Basically, this is a branch out of New York Times, but it's actually not.
It's not.
It wanted to be marketed as a totally complete enterprise.
It's a totally different
Yeah.
brand.
With a different value proposition and with different customer group and everything.
Yeah, that is true. What I was saying is the borrowing part. So
Yeah.
when they are started developing this part, they can borrow that feedback from them.
I don't remember what they
Little
borrowed
bit
from
of
here.
stuff.
What did the paper say when they?
What is the
borrow-
NXT?
Borrow from here.
And it's the New York Times.
Yeah, New York Times.
Oh,
What did they
anyway.
borrow from here again?
They basically borrowed
I don't remember.
two things. They borrowed like they compromised with the quality. NYT is known for its best journalism, but they compromised on that, and they borrowed. I think they borrowed the feedback that they should go ahead and.
They just
start
borrow the content.
Content is all, of course,
Yeah.
coming from that side. It's just an online platform. They are not producing any content. They are
Okay.
putting it online.
Anyway, we got our video and